The Provence-Humus Company presents Humus or Desert. For a new forest and agricultural policy. Of all our natural wealth, the forest probably constitutes our most precious asset. It makes for a climate favorable to life and protects our soils against erosion. It cleanses the atmosphere from pollution, controls the flow of water and wind, produces oxygen, and a great many other things. Fertile soils, rich in humus, from which we obtain daily nourishment. The forest, source of life, haven of peace and relaxation, beautifying our countryside. A reservoir for man's activity and for the supply of noble and renewable raw materials. A heritage beyond price. An unequal struggle, titanic, often utterly exhausting those who are working to preserve it. An incalculable loss for generations to come. Poor forest. Its covering once destroyed, its soil then gives up the ghost. This support of life. Thousands of years lost. the Fire and Assistance Service of the VAR, the most modern in Europe.
Oui, je vois bien que le feu il se développe, le panache est important, hein, le panache est important.
Listen to Colonel Castagne, commanding officer of the Forest Protection Services. Unfortunately, there is too often a tendency to produce conflict between the principles of firefighting and the principles of fire prevention. What preoccupies us tremendously is brushwood clearance, and it preoccupies us because it costs so much. So the state, the departments carry out clearance work, open up fire breaks in a certain number of cases, but that's not enough. And we're currently trying to make a maximum effort to encourage the collaboration of private initiatives in a framework closely organized in association with this work. Listen now to Mr. Chautron, Director of the Forest Regional Administration Services. It's by means of this equipment and this management of the forest area that one can play a part in making best use of the biomass established by the heathland, which needs to be suppressed. It's evident that this heathland constitutes a raw material. We have already had experience of the transformation of this raw material into forest humus, that this manufactured product can be used by agriculture, that this vegetable matter, which is not burned by the sun, is directly used by agriculture. Furthermore, one can also think of its direct use from the point of view of the production of calories during the lean period in which we are living in terms of energy. We can equally think of using it as a raw material for the manufacture of materials derived from wood. I witnessed many experiments which have been put into practice both in the production of methane and of additional calories and in the manufacture of compost. And my personal opinion is that when people achieve an economic balance in the use of these products of brushwood clearance, a big step forward will have been made in fire prevention. This is Sillans-la-Cascade. In Sillans-la-Cascade, in the heart of the Provençal forest, PROVENCE-HUMUS is developing a new approach to the protection and economic use of forest areas. Its recycling policy enables it to perfect, manufacture and market top-quality products, generators of humus, and in addition, energy. Economy in the service of the environment. It becomes necessary to recycle raw materials. More than a dozen brush chippers of this type have set out again for the forest. From every direction, thousands of cubic meters of material have been brought to the operational centers. vegetable matter, green brushwood, are at once stacked in heaps and started on a process of aerobic fermentation. This material, of wood cellulose origin, requires the application of new composting techniques. These operations involve continuous supervision and rigorous control of each phase of the fermentation. This raw material also constitutes the object of research into the production of methane gas. The composted vegetable matter is worked, refined, and added to as necessary. It will undergo new phases of fermentation before becoming marketable. These operations are necessary to obtain effective products, easy to use. Reaching maturity, the products are finally put into sacks and stacked on floats. Five years of research have made possible the production of effective and reliable products, able to meet the needs of the most degraded soils. The Humus range is attracting the interest of more and more numerous distribution networks in France, in Europe, and in the Middle East. It is at the Domaine des Romeys, in Sillans-la-Cascade, on very poor land, unsuitable for cultivation, that experiments have been made with PROVENCE for the first time. The results exceeded all expectation. Owing to its high degree of fine organic material, its capacity to produce humidity and slow mineral development, owing to the richness of its microbial and fungoid flora, of its trace elements and of its generators essential to growth, through the balance of its nutritive components, humus gives back to the soil its original fertility. The result? Products of biological and gastronomic quality beyond compare. Forest, thousands of years old, guarantee of our survival. The vegetable matter which we have extracted from you to save you from fire is returning to nature to reconstitute, maintain, and enrich the earth which nourishes mankind.